Where does Zoom make their money?
We paid for it.
We did? Okay.
Mhm. Go ahead.
Hi, everyone. This is our special meeting for the City of Mangum Commissioners, and I'd like to call the meeting to order at this time. Would you please call the roll, please?
Gay,
Here.
Reese,
Here.
Webb,
Here.
Bowman,
Here.
Okay. Next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. It's the minutes for the regular meeting in March 3rd of 2020. Also to approve the March 2020 claims and approve the April 2020 estimated payroll. Is there any item that you'd like to have removed from the agenda? Consent agenda. If not, I'd entertain a motion.
Make a motion, we approve the consent agenda as presented.
We have a motion. Can I have a second, please?
I'll second that motion.
Okay, we have a second. Please call for a vote.
Gay,
Yes.
Reese,
Yes.
Webb,
Yes.
Bowman,
Yes.
Okay, motion approves. City manager's financial report for April 2020.
And so with my report, I'm just kind of putting it out there. So far, we're still looking good. Of course, this is for February's numbers. We still don't have what March and April is going to look like. We're expecting that that's going to drop significantly. We know, especially with the sales tax, that we're going to lose, in my estimation, we will be lucky to lose 50%. It'll most likely go down below that. On the good news side is that we're a month ahead in our sales tax expected revenues. So you'll see there that our fund balance at 68,000. We're looking pretty good for the general side. The Mangum Authority, the utility authority, isn't looking as good. We had a large expenditure in the month of February, and that was our $40,000 water rehab payment to OWRB. That's why that number is so high for our expenditures. It should be much lower than that, and it typically would be. And you'll also see that in the next month, starting, I want to say March 20th or 15th or the 20th was when I made an order to all of our departments that we need to go ahead and stop spending. I put a moratorium on all spending for the general fund and for the utility authority, just based on our knowledge that we knew that we were going to start closing down businesses. We knew that this was going to start to affect us. Luckily, we saw that coming early. We saw it coming from other cities and other states that were doing it. So I went ahead and I did that for our city. So we stopped spending money about a month ago. We've only expended those items that are considered an emergency or were already considered contractual. So as you look here, sales tax is really not that bad from the previous year. It's pretty close to it. And it's right on top of the previous month. So no big change in our sales tax. Where the good news is we just broke a record for our use tax at 10,500. And I expect actually our use tax to go up over the next few months as people are going to to Amazon, they're going to Walmart, and they're ordering things online to get their supplies because they just can't leave their homes. So we expect to see that use tax go up, but it's just not going to be covering what our loss is in in the sales tax. With that and what we've talked about with the utility authority, we're going to go ahead and suspend one payment, one transfer from the Mangum Utility Authority over to the general fund, because as you'll see on the bottom here, our revenue balance at the bottom for the general fund, the balance versus revenues, the total there, 237,000. We're actually looking in really good shape for the general fund. I think we can skip one payment off of the transfer, I should say, the transfer from the utility authority over to the general fund. So that would be a $103,000 that we're not going to get back into that general fund. That is almost precisely what we're going to miss out on over the next 2 months in sales tax. So we'll still be on top of where we're at. And that's going to really help out that utility authority at the end of the year, when we know that we're going to probably reach a shortfall on that. So if nobody has any questions, I'm more than happy to answer those.
If there are no more questions or any questions, then we'll go on to item number 5 then. Item 5 is discussion and possible action to award the bid to rehabilitate the runway lights at the airport, AIP, OAC, in the amount of $184,760 to Williams Electric Clinton, LLC. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Have a motion. Okay,
Second.
and we have a second. Thank you. And so therefore, discussion on that.
So,
Go ahead.
Let me go ahead on this one. So item 5, 6, and 7 are all part of the airport rehabilitation project that was funded through a 2-year, $300,000 grant that we received from the federal government. And we are also getting a grant from OAC, which is the Oklahoma Aeronautics Commission, in the amount of $209,000. So our total match to this grant is $46,000. We've set that money aside. We've set it aside in this year's budget, and we've set the remainder aside in next year's budget as I'm building it. So we're really getting about $410,000 in grant funding for $4,700 in our out for that. What this is going to do is it's going to rehabilitate all of our lights. All of the taxiway and runway lights will be placed on pads. They'll all be replaced. They'll be put on a 4 foot by 4 foot concrete pad. That's going to be great for us because when we mow them, or we've accidentally run into them before, and we've broken some of those lights. So we're not going to have to deal with that anymore. This is also going to fix the large cracks that we have in our runway. Some of those cracks are 6 inches wide and 10 to 12 inches deep. So this is all part of that plan that we approved back in, I want to say it was August that we first started discussing this, and we approved the go ahead on that in September. So this is just us approving the bids that we received through CEC. Toby Baker is our CEC engineer, and he's the one that handled all the bid process, and these are based on his recommendations.
The 46,000, I know we have it budgeted, and I know that was something that we were looking into, but when we did that, we weren't foreseeing what we're getting ready to go through financially, at least with the COVID-19 and the reduction of taxes coming in. Is this something that has to be approved like today? And regardless of what we foresee,
The only
And
reason,
what's the
yeah,
time-
the
have the
only
time.
reason it's on the agenda for today is because we have to do it today. If we go 30 days without approving these bids, they'll have to restart it, and we could lose our OAC funding. The good news is that that money is already set aside.
right, but it's also set aside with an understanding that we had certain monies coming in. And I get that it's set aside,
Mhm.
but we also set aside that we thought we were going to have a specific income coming in.
Right. And with what we're saving in not spending right now, I'm amazed at how little we have actually spent for the month of March. So far in the month of April, and I can tell you, and it'll be a part of another agenda item that we have later on. My guys aren't even there to work to spend that money. So this is budgeted. It is budgeted based on funds that were expected. It's budgeted based on funds that we have. If you look at our numbers as far as what we've made between July and February for the general fund, we're in good shape. And also remember that this is a completely separate fund from the general fund. So that money is set aside in a separate fund that has nothing to do with our sales tax.
Any other questions? If not, we have a motion and a second. Would you call for a vote, please?
I'm sorry. Yes, Webb,
Yes.
Bowman,
Yes.
Reese,
Yes.
Gay,
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Let's look at item number 6, please. Discussion and possible action to award the bid to rehabilitate the runway AIP OAC in the amount of $253,429.26 to Waldrop Construction Incorporated. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. Okay, discussion on this, Dave.
This is a same item, same discussion. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to.
What are they
Yeah,
going to do that the other one isn't going to do?
The electricians are going to do all the lighting.
Lighting, and
This is going to do the,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah, the repairs to the actual runway. Okay.
correct, the asphalt.
Yeah, the asphalt. Yeah. Okay. Any more discussion on item number 6? If not, would you call for a vote, please, Billy?
Reese,
Yes.
Gay,
Yes.
Bowman,
Yes.
Webb,
Yes.
Okay, motion passes. Let's look at item number 7, which is on the same topic. Discussion and possible action to authorize the mayor to execute the grant application for the Oklahoma Aeronautic Commission grant, OAC. The grant amount will be for $209,765, and the city's match to this grant will be $11,041.26. Do I have a motion for that?
Motion for the mayor to execute the grant.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion on this? Dave?
Is that 11,000 in addition to the 46,000, or is that with the
No.
46,000?
No, this is we had a responsibility for 30,000 on the federal grant side. The federal grant approved basically an expansion on that up to 34,000. This 11,000 plus the 34,000 that we owe to the federal government puts us at that 47,000.
Okay.
it's for 11,000 and change plus 34,000 and change.
So it's a total for all three items, 5, 6, and 7.
Yeah, I can get our grand total here. Sorry, should have had that ready. Our total matching fund, sorry, it's not 47, it's 44,375 and 26 cents.
Okay. And that's all three items.
That's for all three items. That is our total city's part of this $409,000 that we're receiving.
Any more questions? If not, let's call for a vote, please.
Bowman,
Yes.
Webb,
Yes.
Gay,
Yes.
Reese,
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. If you look at item number 8, discussion and possible action to approve resolution number 2020-36 to approve the proposed amendments to the agreement establishing OMAG, which extends the term of the agreement to continue in perpetuity. Do I have a motion?
I make that motion.
And then we have a second.
I'll second.
Okay. Now discussion on that.
So this agenda item is nothing more than it is the foundational document for OMAG, was set to expire after 50 years. All members of OMAG are required now to go in and approve that they basically continue, OMAG continues to exist in perpetuity.
Okay.
It makes sense.
Questions? Comments?
So I guess I don't understand. I know it ended. So are you just saying that basically it's just extended past even our quote reign unless something else is done?
No, this is just a change in the actual OMAG founding document, the establishing account or the establishing agreement. When OMAG was brought together, the additional agreement said from the state said that we're going to try this for 50 years. If it works, you're all going to have to come back in and extend that 50 years. If we don't, OMAG goes away.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? I'll call for a vote, please.
Gay,
Yes.
Reese,
Yes.
Webb,
Yes.
Bowman,
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Item number 9 on the agenda, discussion and possible action to select 3 nominees for the Oklahoma Municipal Assurance Group Board. I nominate Pam Pope. For sure.
That's the only one that I knew on the list.
That's the only one I knew. I mean, I read those other things, but I didn't know them either. Can we get some recommendations, thoughts from you, Dave?
I'm trying to pull up my list here.
Guys, we're violating our own. We have to make a motion, right?
Right.
I didn't do it?
Nope.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. So I'd like, well,
See, this is my dilemma with this.
yeah. How can you make a motion when you haven't figured out who you're going to select yet?
But
No,
that's
you just make a motion to nominate 3 people.
Okay. I make a motion that we nominate 3. I mean, I wish somebody would make a nomination that we nominate 3 people to this. Do I have that motion?
I will make the motion that we select 3 nominees for the OMAG board.
Okay. And I have a second on that?
I'll second that.
Okay. Thank you. I totally agree with you, Ronnie.
Well, you won't when I talk to you later.
Ah, okay. Okay. So discussion on this. I do nominate Pam Polk. I would like for her to be part of it, but I'm not on the board technically. I can't vote, so.
And honestly, I mean, I read them all. I couldn't tell hide or hair with any of them. I don't know Pam.
Yeah, I know her.
You know
I
some
would
of
have to
them.
lean to Dave on
Yeah,
that.
Dave, who are your recommendations?
I know I'm looking right at the screen, but I'm actually trying to get my deal open. I'm not supposed to really give you a recommendation on this because I know these people as colleagues.
Well, I know.
Um,
How are we supposed to know?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know any of them, and by reading their letters, I wasn't like overly impressed with one of them over another.
gotcha.
Right.
So can we just recommend one? Or do we have to have three?
I'll just, can I give my 2 cents on this? This is
Go
sort
ahead.
of like voting for president and you being forced to vote for someone even though you don't know anything about that person. It's a uneducated vote.
Right.
And honestly, I'm not okay with an uneducated vote for myself.
Right.
I don't know enough. I would have to lean on you, Dave, to,
Okay.
they are colleagues of yours and you would know them better than us.
We could ask you some questions like who has the most experience? I mean, I know some of that's in their thing, but the most, maybe that's not the right question. I don't know.
Billy, hang on just a second. Billy, did you send me this list? Because I can't find it in my agenda packet.
I believe so. Are you
I've got,
looking?
Like page 17, I think, or something, 16.
It may be in the, oh,
When
oh,
I,
this came to me via, I'm sorry. No, I'm messing this up.
it was a legal sheet that was mailed to me. And it was on the back of it and I had to make a copy and make it smaller.
saw the list.
There we go. There we go. Now I got it. Sorry. Some of these folks I don't know. I do know, I know Justin Battles. I have a lot of respect for him. He's from Mustang, works for Rooney out there. He's a great guy. I think he would be a great candidate for this. I know Gerald Hari took over for my brain is not working. He's from Manford. Tim Lyon is another great option. I can't tell you about some of these other folks, Stephen Mills, Russ Meacham. You cannot go wrong with Tim, Gerald, or Justin. And obviously Pam, I've known and respected for a long time. And she's absolutely would be my top pick for the board. So if I were to give you the names, it would be Justin Battles and Tim Lyons
And Pam Polk.
and Pam Polk.
Any questions on those?
We didn't vote on your motion, did we? So I would ask you to amend your motion to include those names.
Okay.
Or
Okay.
it wasn't your motion, whoever made that first motion.
I make the motion that we select Pam Polk, Justin Battles, and Tim Lyon as for the OMAG board.
Do I have a second? I mean, we've already got the
I'd
second.
second. Yeah, I'd second that.
Okay.
amendment.
All right, that's, yeah, second the amendment. Okay, any more discussion on that then? If not, let's call for a vote, please.
Webb,
Yes.
Reese,
Yes.
Gay,
Yes.
Bowman,
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Item number 10 on the agenda, discussion of possible action to approve the ordinance numbers 463, amending Title 6, Chapter 1, Sections 6-1-1, adding catastrophic health emergency to definition of natural disaster and natural emergency, amending Title 6, Chapter 1, Section 6-1-5, setting a $500 fine for violating any emergency proclamation during a period of declared emergency, amending Section 1-8-9C by adding violation to emergency proclamation to offense schedule, declaring an emergency, providing for severability, and amending all ordinances or resolutions in conflict. Do I have a motion to approve that item?
So move.
Have a motion, to have a second?
I'll second.
We have a second. Now discussion.
Corey, do you want to take this or do you want me to?
I think you're doing a great job.
Oh, thanks. So as we started going into this this COVID emergency, we started looking into our ordinances and what our ability to enforce an actual order from an emergency declaration order from the mayor was. And if you go through our ordinances, there is actually no statutory guidance or code guidance municipal wise that allows us to enforce the laws, the rules that that we impose when we do an emergency declaration. And you'll find that a lot of towns were in this mess. I've heard from multiple colleagues of mine that they've had to do the exact same thing, where they have to go in and they have to put teeth behind the order that is written during an emergency declaration. This is the teeth that we need. We've heard a lot about, hey, why aren't you stopping these folks from not, when they're not wearing a mask? Well, we do stop them, but the only teeth we have is, hey, you need to wear a mask. That's what we're trying to get across. With this, it actually gives us the ability to go out and enforce that as law. And if we should need it, that's a tool for us to get the word across and get the point across that you need to wear your mask, that you need to stay at home, that you're not supposed to be out in the park, that you're any of the multitude of orders that we've issued, that the mayor has issued during this time, we've got to be able to put teeth behind those, and we have to be able to enforce them. And that's what this ordinance does for us.
I have this question. Is it a mandatory $500 fine, or can it be up to $500 based on what the city judge does, based on the circumstances? Or does it?
It's up to.
It's up to.
It's up to 500, so you can go 0 to 500, just not more than 500.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know, because it says.
And we've based that $500 based on the state statute. We don't want to go above the state statute, and we wanted to give the teeth behind that state statute in our own code.
So it doesn't have to say up to then, Corey?
No, it doesn't have to. It just says, not more than. So
Okay.
that encompasses every number below that.
Well, it says setting a $500 fine for violating any.
Yeah, but in the code itself,
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it says each
not
violation
more than.
constitutes a misdemeanor and is punishable by a fine of not more than 500.
Okay.
Right.
I mean, we can change the wording if you want me to, and I can say punishable by a fine up to 500.
Well,
I got
the code, the ordinance itself, it's right there under subsection B. Each violation of any emergency proclamation constitutes a misdemeanor and is punishable by a fine of not more than $500.
Okay. All right, if it's good the way it is, I'm fine. I just wanted them to have that flexibility as,
And it's really the judge's flexibility on
yes,
that.
yes. And based on each circumstance. Yeah.
That's correct.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. Do we have any more questions? Okay, would you call for a vote, please?
Reese,
Yes.
Bowman,
Yes.
Webb,
Yes.
Gay.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries on number 10. Number 11, City Manager's COVID-19 Actions Update.
So I wanted to give you all kind of an update of, we haven't met since this this terrible event has hit us. None of us were prepared for what we have had to endure. I just wanted to give you kind of an idea of what we've done on the city side. We all know what our emergency declarations have been. We all know what, our city's actions are, but what you may not be aware of is the actions that we've imposed on our employees. And I wanted to let you know what those actions have been. I did put together a report for all of you, and I've sent those to you. I don't want to go over that report. It's way too long. But I wanted to let you know that first and foremost, the safety and welfare and health of my employees are absolutely top on my list of getting us through this. We've got to keep our people healthy, and they've got to go out and they've got to do their job. We started when the initial declaration of emergency was done. I started putting folks on notice that, hey, no travel warnings. If you are going to travel outside the state, that you're going to have to quarantine when you come back. We've had to do that. We did that with one of our employees who just happened to go to Tennessee. When he got back, and we found out that he was in Tennessee, we then put him in quarantine. So we then, as things got progressively worse, we went and we started following that order from the governor of safer at home. As essential workers, our 65 and over population that do work for the city, we're kind of exempt from that, but I wanted to option that out for our folks. If they felt safer at home, they should be home. And we weren't going to penalize them for that. We just basically sent them home on administrative leave if they chose to do that. And at that time, I think that was on the 25th, we had one person that did that, and the rest were, hey, we'll just keep working. And then as things got worse and got worse again, on the 5th of April, when we found out that our number had jumped from 6 to 25 cases, I knew that we had to make a more drastic step. So at that time, we'd already shut down all of our city buildings. We'd already shut down many of our the library, the city hall, all of those. They were continuing to work inside, but we locked the doors and we wouldn't allow the public in. If you needed us, you called us. Now we're still doing that with City Hall, but we have since on the 5th of April, we've locked down the city completely. I've sent everybody home with orders on they're basically following the city's orders of shelter in place. All of my personnel are on recall. If an emergency happens, if a pipe bursts or whatever, we're going to give them a call and they're going to come to work. But other than that, I don't need them out there. And the maintenance that they need to do every day is getting done. They come out, they go out and they do their well readings. They go out and they do their MORs. They do in those things that are keeping us going and keeping us safe, but they're not doing anything extra. So I've sent them all home. I've sent them and they're under orders to stay home. And those are very strict orders. So we are operating City Hall. There is somebody there from 9 o'clock until 4:30 every day. They answer phones, they check email, or they check their mail, they check the parcels, they can take payments over the phone, but they will not open the doors. And that is going to continue until right now, that shelter in place order for my personnel is set to expire on the 16th. But as this continues to progress, we may extend that, and I'll make that decision by the end of the day. So they'll know that for tomorrow. I'm leaning towards going ahead and extending it out for another week. But that again, I have to make that decision and weigh that. So I just wanted to give you that update. Just for the general population, to kind of put things in perspective, I reached out to the health department, had them send me over a graph, and you'll see on your screen now, our first case was on the 31st and we had 2. And that was also the date of our first fatality from the COVID virus. That's the fastest growing spread in America. And it's absolutely frightening that has happened here. It happened in Greer County. We need our folks to understand, and I've put it out on Facebook and we've made our messaging, but we desperately need our folks to understand and know we are not out of this. We're nowhere near out of this. And we have to stay home, and we have to keep our masks on when we're out, and we have to follow those guidelines of the CDC and the WHO and the state health department. This is, it's just incomprehensible. And folks out there watching this, this is our first broadcast of a city meeting. And I get to sit here and say, stay home, please stay home. Don't make this hard on yourself. Don't make this hard on us. We just need to get through this. And the only way to do that is to keep your distance, stay home. And when you do have to go out, wear a mask. So that is my update for the COVID-19 actions for the city.
Does anybody have any questions for Dave?
Are we at 50 or are we at 49?
We're at 50.
But it shows still four deaths, right?
And correct.
Okay. Any other questions, comments? Okay, item 12, motion to adjourn. Do I have a motion?
I'd make that motion.
Second?
That motion.
We got a second? Please call for a vote.
Gay,
Yes.
Webb,
Yes.
Reese,
Yes.
Bowman.
Yes.
Okay, we are adjourned for our special meeting. Now we're going to our Mangum Utility Authority special meeting. I'll call this meeting to order. Would you please do a roll call?
Scott,
Here.
Reese,
Here.
Bowman,
Here.
Gay,
Here.
Webb.
Here.
Okay, we have a quorum. The consent agenda to approve the minutes of the regular meeting on March the 3rd of 2020, to approve the March 2020 claims, and to approve April 2020 estimated payroll. Do I have a motion for that consent agenda, or would you like anything removed from that?
I'll make that motion.
Have that motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Is there any discussion that you would like to have on any of this? If not, please call for a vote.
Scott,
Yes.
Reese,
Yes.
Bowman,
Yes.
Gay,
Yes.
Webb.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. And the shortest agenda in the world. Number 4 is motion to adjourn. Do I have that motion?
So move.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second. Please call for a vote.
Webb,
Yes.
Reese,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Gay,
Yes.
Bowman.
Yes.
Okay, the meeting is adjourned. Thank everyone for tuning in. If you did watched it on YouTube, we appreciate it. We always like to have people know what's going on in the city because you guys are important to us. So thank all of you for tuning in. Thank you, members and everybody. Be safe. God bless each of you. And know that we're here if you need us. I guess that's it, Dave.